and welcome to the Cosy Corner, a podcast about all things cozy. Join us as we dive into the world of film and TV, a little true crime and spooky time, food reviews, and talk to some special guests too. So get cozy, grab some snacks and settle in, because we're about to begin. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cosy Corner Podcast. I'm your host, Emilie, and today I thought we'd do something a little bit podcast based. Why not a podcast? So I want to tell you guys what my favourite podcasts are and why. But before we get into that, I've got a little bit of a funny story. So, and on this podcast we do love a good little funny story, so get comfy. It's slightly spooky, but then turns out not spooky at all. No. I did think it was. I thought something weird was going on, then it just turned out to be nothing. So, yeah, bit of a spoiler there, but, I don't want to scare anyone. So it's going to sound like it's a bit of a ghost story, but it's not really, don't worry. So I'll set the scene. I'm in my bedroom. Don't get any ideas, I'm just in my bedroom. And I'm chilling. I'm just having a good time. I'm rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender because I am obsessed. If you've listened to previous episodes, you'll know how deep that obsession goes. But yeah, I was just chilling, watching that. I had my little cup of chai tea. I've gotten really back into teas lately. Probably something to do with Uncle Iroh. Watching that guy drink his jasmine tea, it makes me jealous. It does. I got myself some jasmine tea and some ginseng. And you know what? It's lovely. Especially with some honey. But I'm really into chai at the moment. So I'm sitting there with my chai and I'm just chilling, watching TV, having a great time. And then as I got up, I was like, what's on my foot? Like there was something stuck to it. And I looked and it was like this little greeting card thing. Well, no, maybe greeting card isn't the right word. It's like, it was a small little card. And it said something on it. And I thought, right, I need to read this properly. What is this? Because I didn't put that there. So what is it? So the first one that I seen was, the best revenge is massive success. And it's a little tiny card. And it had a picture of a donut on it. And I thought, how random. Okay. Weird. My mum probably put it on my bed or something. Because to be fair, me and my mum, we're dead sweet, right? We're so cute. Years ago, when I was a kid, I made her a jar full of reasons why I love her. I know, I'm adorable. So if she's having a tough time or something, or if I just think she needs uplifting or something, I'll take... I'm so adorable. I mean, it's cringeworthy to me now. I will take... I still do this now as well, did it more as a kid, but I'll still do it now. So I'll take pieces of the paper that's in there with nice things wrote on, you're so strong, brave, beautiful, caring, kind, supportive, all those things. Everything that I love about her. So cringeworthy. Oh, she loves it though. And I'll put them on her bed or on her pillow or something. And sometimes she does the same for me. Out of her jar. If I've had a tough time, if something's going on with me, she'll empty it out and see which words apply to my situation and then put them in my room. But yeah, normally it's on blank pieces of paper. But I thought maybe she's come across this nice little motivational card and thought of me. Things have been going well at work and there's projects coming up and all that I'm working on, and it's going quite well. So I thought, it applies. the best revenge is massive success. There have been people who didn't think I would get this far in journalism. There were people who have told me, you'll never pass the exam. Or like, to get into journalism, you already need a qualification. I didn't have any journalistic qualifications whatsoever. I had film qualifications, didn't have journalistic ones. And yet today, I'm a senior journalist. Never thought I ever would be. But hey, you know, like the card says, the best revenge is massive success. So like, I was sitting there thinking, this kind of apply, made me feel good about myself. It's like, oh, lovely, okay. I'm like, yeah, nice. Didn't think anything of it after that really. I asked my mum, like, was that you? She was like, no. Well, okay, weird. How random. Okay, put it out my head. A few weeks later, the same thing happened, but with a different card. And it was on my bed, but it was on my pillow this time. The other one was like in the bed with me. So then, and this is always at night as well. Yeah. So I go into my room and like I see this card on my bed and I can't really remember what it said. It was something about like people's opinions. Like the only opinion that matters is your own, or something like that. It was along those lines, right? Again, it like weirdly applied to my situation. So I was like, how odd. Really, like, what? Where are these coming from? And like, I did think in that moment, okay, maybe if I ordered something off Etsy, because I do quite often, and sometimes they do, like, the sellers on there, if it's homemade stuff, they can include nice little cards. Usually it's a thank you note. But once before I have received like a motivational card. Don't even know what, but it's something like you're only limit to the ones you set yourself, something like that. And that was like a year ago though. Do you know what I mean? So like I haven't ordered anything from Etsy since before Christmas. So why have I got 2 of these cards now? Anyway, I didn't keep them though. I did take pictures of 2 of them. Not the second one though. So the third one happens. Yeah, it happens a third time. This was a few days ago. Nighttime, about 10 o'clock at night, 10:30. I'm getting into bed. I pull the cover back. Here's a card. A motivational card telling me it's not about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Now, I'm not being funny, guys. This is getting a bit weird because in my professional career at the moment, I am trying to do better. I am trying to be better than what I've been before and make higher quality content that I care about. And as well in my own spare time with the podcast, with my Instagram and TikTok accounts, with content creation, I'm trying to push myself to do more and make better content and be better, have a better presence online and really make stuff that I'm proud of. So again, it applied. And it felt weird. It's like, what is going on? And also, this particular last quote, I swear I've heard Uncle Iroh in Avatar say something similar to Zuko. Or at least it sounds like something he would say. Prince Zuko, it's not about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Now have some jasmine tea. I could totally see him saying that, you know? So, I don't know what was going on there. And I thought, right, that's it. This is the last straw. I'm being haunted. And now I am. I've interrogated my mum about this twice. She said it's not her. I believe her. There's a part of me I'm like, but do I though? Do I? Because like she does nice things for me all the time. Is she just trying to make it seem like the universe is telling me that like I'm on the right track and, you know, being motivational? But that's like, no, it can't be her. It definitely isn't my dad. He does not have that kind of mindset to think about that. If he wants to tell you that you're doing good, he'd just tell you to your face, be like, yeah, that's good, that. Great. You know, he's very Ron Swanson. He's very Ron Swanson. He will not go about this in a roundabout way and hide cards in my bed. That's a no-go. I don't have anyone else who has access to my bedroom. So the only possible explanation in my mind was ghosts. I am being haunted by a motivational ghost. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm in my bedroom. I'm now terrified of these motivational quotes that just keep showing up for no particular reason whatsoever in my bed at night. Why? I'm not being funny, but you know what? If you're a really nice ghost and you want to give me these motivational quotes, you know what? Great, thank you for not being a poltergeist. I appreciate that. But can you do it at like a nicer hour? You know, like 9 in the morning, 10, something like that. Get me out of bed with these quotes. You know, don't make me feel scared about going to sleep. And why in my bedroom? It's just very weird. So I was stood there. I put the light on immediately, the big light, which I never do. I only do that for emergencies. Or if I've lost a back of my earring, which is also classed as an emergency, really. So I put the big light on, and I'm like, right, who is doing this? And I'm literally like speaking out loud in my room now, like, can you stop, please? I don't like it. Can you go and, you know, do your motivational quotes elsewhere, please? Why have you chosen my bedroom? Like, it was just getting really weird. And then I thought, no, you know what? I have a logical, scientific mind most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. Yes, I enjoy doing my witchy business. But when it comes to ghosts, I don't really know if I truly believe in ghosts. There's like a part of me where I'm like, if they are real, I would be terrified of them. So just in case they're real, you know, I'm going to be nice to them. I'm going to be scared. Try and be respectful where I can. But, so yeah, I'm on the fence. Like, I don't know if I believe. I'm still shit scared though, just in case. That's basically the gist of it. So then, I was just kind of trying to figure out what was going on. I thought, no, there's got to be an explanation. There has to be. This can't be how I'm being haunted. Is this even classed as haunting? Because it's not scary. They're giving me motivational quotes. Is that even a haunting? Do you know what I mean? So it made me question a lot of things. So I decided then, no, there's another explanation. I just have to think of it. I just have to work it out. What could this be? What have I brought into my room lately from downstairs, apart from snacks and chai? And the occasional hot chocolate. Like, what have I brought up? I was like, well, I went to Lush and like I got some Lush bath bombs and they're under my dresser in a bag full of, like a makeup bag thing full of, the stuff that keeps it fresh, the foam stuff, whatever it is. I don't think it's that though, because they're all about no real packaging, aren't they? Like, that, I just, unless it was biodegradable paper, I don't really see them doing that. You know, like where you put it in water and it just disintegrates. I would see them doing that. But this was like quite thick, this card. It wasn't paper, it was a bit thicker than paper. So yeah, didn't think it was that. And then I thought, it's not Etsy. I've ruled that one out because I haven't ordered anything. So what else have I brought up? And then I realised, every few weeks I order myself some cereal bars. And these cereal bars, they're just like peanut butter, like Skinny cereal bars. I think it's the brand Skinny. Like, obviously not sponsored, not giving a shout out. I don't love the name of that brand. I think, let's not name foods after like the size of, people's bodies. Stay away from that. But I do like the product. So, there you go. But I buy those in bulk off Amazon. Don't love Amazon either, but hey, it's convenient and I can't get out much. And because I've got a chronic illness, and some days if I'm really bad, I might have to, like, when I'm working from home, if I'm really dealing with like a bad flare up but I can still work, I might work from my bed for some of the day and then get up once I'm feeling better. So sometimes, to avoid having to get up and go downstairs, I will put my cereal bars in my bedside table in the drawer. And on the third time that I got one of the cards, I had just unpacked the cereal bars and put them in the drawer, and then I had discovered the third card on the bed, and it clicked. It's got to be from that for some reason. I don't know why, but it has to be, because that's the only thing that I've brought in, and that would line up because it's every few weeks that I've ordered those cereal bars, and then it's every few weeks that I've had the card. So I went onto Amazon and I looked at the listing, and it says 3 times bundle containing Skinny Crunch peanut butter bar with inspirational card. Just the cereal bars. It was the cereal bars. It comes with an inspirational card. Why? Couldn't tell you. Not a clue. I don't really see the connection, but you know what? Okay. It says inspirational card. The bundle includes an inspirational card created by Rich. This card likely contains motivational or uplifting messages, adding a positive and inspiring touch to the overall package. It could serve as a thoughtful addition to brighten someone's day, or it could make them think that they're being haunted by a motivational ghost. So there we go, guys. That was how I was convinced I was being haunted by a motivational speaking ghost. Yeah. I'm really glad that I'm not. That's a good thing that came out of it. I figured out that actually no, there wasn't a ghost that was haunting me with these motivational quotes. I was haunting myself with them because I bought them and just didn't know. I didn't read the listing properly, and I've been accidentally haunting myself. So yeah, moral of the story. Read the Amazon listing properly, I suppose. But anyway, now that I've told you that story and riveted you, I hope, I'm going to go through some podcasts that I really love listening to. I love getting a podcast recommendation from someone and then actually following it through, listening to it and realising, oh my god, yes, I love this. This is my new go-to. So I'm going to tell you guys what my go-to podcasts are. And hopefully you'll check them out, give them a go, see what you think. So my number one, these aren't really going to be in any particular order, but I do have to say, my number one go-to podcast that puts a smile on my face every time, because I love these two chuckleheads, is True Crime and Cocktails. Now, I did just say it puts a smile on my face. I don't mean because of the content, I mean because of the people. It's hosted by Lauren Ash and Christy Oxborough, and they are incredible together. They're cousins, but they're more like sisters. Lauren is an actor, And you probably recognise her from Superstore and a whole bunch of other things as well. And honestly, them two together, their chemistry is amazing. And then they do cover some really important cases. And it's been very impactful. And somehow they managed to make that content enjoyable. Especially if they're talking about how these horrific people have done these crimes. And they have a go at them. You know, like, they call them all sorts of names. And you're just like, yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it other than they're just really good at what they do. They manage to put a smile on your face despite discussing horrific content. And then where it's necessary, they are very respectful in how they deal with these cases as well. So it's an absolute perfect recipe in there for a really good podcast. And at the beginning, they always do a little catch up. And honestly, sometimes that's even the best part. Like, that's enjoyable for me. Some people skip through it. I could never imagine doing that. I love catching up on their lives. They've done loads of different episodes, like unbelievable amounts. They're almost at 200 episodes when I'm recording this. They're doing fantastic, and every time I see that there's a new episode, it just lights up my life, really, to be honest, even though it's true crime. Like, I do love true crime. I love getting into the nitty-gritty of what's gone on, figuring out mysteries, being a detective myself, really, and just looking into cases that people don't really know about much as well. And to be fair, I want to get back to that with this podcast a bit more. There's one that I've been working on. I've been in a bit of a slump with it, but I'm getting there. So stay tuned for that. I want to try and dive into true crime a little bit more. Another true crime one, because I am a true crime girly, Morbid. And I'm sure like some people who are listening are like, yeah, absolutely, that's one of my go-to as well, because it is an incredibly popular podcast. And these two girls, love them. Oh my god, Ash and Elena, yes, amazing. Again, their chemistry just off the charts, and it makes it, doesn't it? Like, I feel like I know them. And then the way that they discuss these cases as well, very respectful, but also inject some of their personality into it, which is what we like. Because I always think, like, you don't subscribe to content really just for the content. Often you're subscribing for the person's personality, whoever's presenting that, whether it's a person, a duo, a group. You tend to go for it more if you like who those people are. And they deliver it fantastically. And they've covered so many different cases. Oh my god. Let's see what episode they're up to now. 642. So that just shows you how much content they're making. My god. What episode are we on with this podcast? 40? Something like that? God, this is a baby podcast, isn't it, compared to that? My god. We've learnt a lot along the way already. And we're still quite new. Another one. I don't know how to categorise this one. Probably a comedy podcast or a societal culture podcast. Maybe a mix of both. Dear Hank and John. Now, if you don't know who these are, John Green and Hank Green, they kind of were at the forefront of internet content creation back in the day when YouTube was the go-to and kind of the only platform to post videos on. Well, they kind of like started off doing Vlog Brothers. I believe they still do that now. I haven't been keeping up with that, to be fair. But they originally started doing, it was Brothers 2.0, then Vlog Brothers, and they've expanded massively across the internet. You probably come across some of their content, may not even realise it. There's Crash Course, SciShow. They have a company called Complexly, which deals with all this, and they're just everywhere. They're amazing. And if you're on TikTok, you probably know who Hank Green is. He's a science guy. He's kind of replaced Bill Nye. He's a young person's Bill Nye. No, Bill Nye's, he's still good. He's still going. He's still cool down with the kids. But Hank Green, anytime there's a question on TikTok like, how do candles burn? Where does the wax go? That's like one of the most asked questions like for him. And he'll make a video explaining it. And yeah, he's cool. Anyway, so yeah, I really enjoy that. Again, it's mainly their personalities, and I just love how they answer questions from their listeners, and they just kind of get to the nitty gritty of what people want to know, and sharing like a little bit about their own lives as well, which I really like. And John, of course, is an incredible author, so sometimes there'll be episodes that focus kind of on that as well. So yeah, I just enjoy listening to them. I feel like I'm hanging out with them. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's another one where it's like very chill and just catching up on stuff. And then they also have little sections near the end of the podcast. There's news from AFC Wimbledon, which is a football team that John is involved with. And then news from Mars, which is Hank's section where he'll talk about the news from Mars. And I don't have any stakes in that football team. I don't particularly even like football, but I'll listen to it. I stay up to date. You know, the goings on of who's been bought and who they're losing, who they're gaining, where they are, like in the English tier football system, like. And I might not understand most of it, but hey, I listen. And they had Ryan Reynolds on the, well, probably a few months ago now, maybe even a year. But he discussed football with them as well, because of course he is an owner of Wrexham Football, so Wrexham Football Club, yeah, that's right. So them two have a lot in common, you know, in that respect. And that was a really good episode, really funny and nice. So yeah, I also don't really know an awful lot about Mars. But I am quite interested in space. I've always had an interest in space, stars, all that. Like, I love it. So I do enjoy listening to Hank's updates. But yeah, that's just a nice kind of chill, relaxing podcast. And they do talk about what's going on in the world as well. So yeah, it's just one of those where it's more of like similar to what I'm kind of doing, like a stream of consciousness discussion, often, like more often than not. So I do enjoy that though. Let's see another one, the Tripod. I love the Try Guys. I think they're brilliant. Love what they're doing, and especially with their podcast. They sometimes do episodes out and about, which inspired me to do vlogcasts now and again. They call it a... what do they call it? Plug? Pardon me. Sorry, I've been drinking fizzy drinks. I apologise to any earphone listeners because I did just burp. But I feel like if you've been a listener for a while, we're close enough where I can just do that. I'm not going to edit that out. No. Yeah, I think they call it a plug, where it's a podcast vlog, whereas I call mine a vlogcast. But yeah, I loved when they go out and about. They went to Chuck E. Cheese and they did a video there, and it was so funny. Oh, it's hilarious. So funny. Like, to me, although it is like very reality based and it's not scripted, I would call them a cast. Like, they have a podcast cast of people. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's Miles, Rainey. Like, it's not just like you Try Guys, you normal Try Guys. There's more to it. There's more people involved. So I feel like that becomes like a cast or an ensemble. You know, it's just nice to have that variation of different people, and everyone's got a slightly different sense of humour, and they all bring something different to the table, and I love that. And they all just vibe so well. That's so funny. That's definitely a comedy podcast, I would say. But yeah, really enjoy that. look forward to listening to that. And I always look forward when I see it's a vlogcast. Let's see another one. After Dark. Now this is like a history podcast, and I do love history, but when I've tried to listen to history podcasts before, they've always been quite boring, but not this one. I love After Dark. It's just the way they present it again, like the historians as well. Anthony Delaney and Maddie Pelling. Every Monday and Thursday, they take a look at the dark side of history, from haunted pubs and Houdini to witch trials and UFO sightings. What's not to love? They also sometimes do true crime as well, which, is a nice little surprise for me. So, yeah, I've just found that really enjoyable. They dive into so many different things that goes far back as like medieval times, like, it's just amazing. I love it. Because you don't know what you're going to get, like, it's different all the time. We've covered, like, banshees and, like, so much. So that's another one where I feel like this one, although it does feel educational and you are learning while you're listening to it, it's not a chore. It's enjoyable. And they have guest speakers on as well. But I've got to say, as much as I find that interesting, I like it when it's just them two as well. Because I feel like I'm there listening to them and I've gotten to know them. So I do like it when they have people on, experts, to talk about certain things, but I absolutely love just their episodes where one of them is presenting something to the other and they get the other person's opinion on stuff. Like, it's just nice. That's a nice one. Like, it's chill. It's cool, it's interesting, it's educational, it's got everything. So I really like that. Another one kind of in the same boat is the Poisoner's Cabinet. And that's kind of like a history one. Famous poisoners, vicious Victorians, and curious cocktails. Join hosts Nick and I am awful at saying this. I think it's Sinead. Like, I'm awful at pronunciations, but anyway. So yeah, they investigate history's greatest poisoners and ridiculous crimes on this comedic true crime show. I would say it's more kind of history mixed with true crime, so a bit similar to After Dark, but focused specifically on poison. So yeah, that is an interesting one, of course. A lot in there. I wouldn't say I like it more than After Dark. I think After Dark, I do like that one more, to be fair, but it's a really good podcast still in itself, and I'll listen to it in between episodes of After Dark. What else? Let's see. Oh, More Better, which is hosted by Brooklyn Nine-Nine stars Stephanie Beatriz and Melissa Fumero. Yeah, Fumero. So they played Rosa on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Amy on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And in real life, they're friends, and they started a podcast. And I really enjoy it. I think it's another kind of stream of consciousness one. They'll have points that they talk about, but it's very much comedic and kind of just about life in general, and I love it. It's all about how they can be more better, hence why it's called More Better. And yeah, I love it. I think that they started that during lockdown, and they've continued it, and it's a nice one. I do like that. To be fair, I haven't listened in a while, actually, so I'm not sure when the last episode was. It may have been a while ago. Maybe they didn't continue it all that much. But definitely 2024, I can see episodes. But that one I haven't listened to in a few months. But I need to get back into it. Oh, Guilty Pleasures. That's another one from the Try Guys ensemble. They talk about movies. And then once they've discussed them, they have to say, was it a pleasure or a guilty pleasure? So yeah, I enjoy that because sometimes like you'll watch stuff and like for me a guilty pleasure would be Twilight because everyone hates it, but I'm like I do kind of like it though, even though I know it's toxic and it is cheesy and like corny and some bits and all that, but it's still a good watch. So to me, I'm like that's a guilty pleasure to me. Um, but yeah, same with like the new Willy Wonka. There were some songs in there that I was like, you didn't need that, get rid. But overall, I really enjoyed it. But a lot of people really didn't like it. They thought it was way too cheesy and just didn't need to be a thing. But for me, I was like, no, that's my guilty pleasure now. I have watched it twice. Now this, I suppose it's a podcast. Yeah. I mean, it's more of like, they call it theatre for the mind. It's called Hildy, the Barback and the Lake of Fire, and it stars Melissa McCarthy and her husband Belle Falcone, and it's amazing. It's kind of like an audiobook, I would say. That's why I was like, I don't know if it's a podcast. It's more like an audiobook, and you watch it play out in your mind. Do you know what I mean? Like you just listen to it, and yeah. So Hildy is voiced by Melissa McCarthy, and there's loads and loads of stars in this. There's Glenn Close, there's Octavia Spencer, loads. I can't even list them all. There's just so many. And I loved the story, it was brilliant. So here's a little rundown of the story. When an evil force threatens to incinerate the fantastical land of Golgarath, it's up to Hildy the Barback and her friends to kick some arse on a comedic quest to save the world. Oh, also, there's dragons. So yeah, it's a fun one. It's a fun one, I like it. I found it to be really, really interesting. And each episode is not too long, they're about like 30 minutes. So, quite palatable, easy to listen to. And get your imagination going. So that was an interesting one, a bit unusual. And then a bit of a boring one, I suppose, but it's handy. It's handy. I'm learning Spanish. So there's a few Spanish podcasts that I listen to. Of course, Duolingo. Gotta shout Duo out, otherwise I do fear for my life. And then there's Coffee Break Spanish, News in Slow Spanish, and My Spanish Podcast. So yeah, I kind of listen to all of them now and again sporadically. I wouldn't say I like one more than the other, but I'm trying to learn, so they help, as like something extra when I'm not being threatened by Duolingo and having to do a lesson, even though I'm out doing something or I'm in bed trying to sleep. It pops up like, it'd be a real shame if you didn't keep up your streak. And it's like, what are you trying to say? And then it makes like a really mean face. It's scary. Anyway, but yeah, they're all of my podcast recommendations, really. I don't think I've missed anything all that important. I mean, gonna give myself a shout out. I do enjoy sometimes when I'm editing the Cosy Corner, I find myself laughing at the podcast. So I suppose I do like to listen back to it, even though I don't like my own voice. And I'm, very cringeworthy sometimes. If I'm listening back, because I've got to make sure the audio is good and, I've got to slot it in between the intro and the outro and all that, make sure there's no peaks, or if there is, I pull that down. So while I'm doing that, I'm listening, and sometimes I do find myself laughing. And I do make myself laugh, probably at least 3 times a day. So, you know what, I think I'm pretty funny. I laughed at myself an awful lot when I figured out what was going on with those motivational quotes and where they were coming from. And I thought, I can't believe I've done that to myself. And I convinced myself that I was being haunted by a motivational speaker. Of all the ghosts, you know? Like, why did my mind even go there? That's concerning. Like, see, I make myself laugh. Oh, and I hope I make you, dear listeners, laugh as well. And if I do, if I make you laugh, if I put a smile on your face, if I made your day a little bit better by listening to this podcast, then please go ahead and subscribe on whatever podcast platform you are listening on. Follow us over on the socials as well. Please do that. Leave a review. Rate me 5 stars, please. It really helps. And I'll see you on the next one. Stay cozy.